Hi, my name is Liz Hathaway and this is my astrological look at the week ahead, and that's the week starting Monday, December the 14th, 2020. So the week starts with a solar eclipse in 23 degrees 8 Sagittarius, which is still square. These Sag planets are square to Neptune. Orb is getting a bit wider now, but still we will have that sort of need to soak things up, and we have to be careful. This is Sagittarius, Mercury as well in Sagittarius, that we don't overload on information, that we don't take so much on board that we're unable to see the wood for the trees. There's always that risk. Here it's about the sun being eclipsed, so it's about the moon, it's about trusting the moon, it's about the emotional nature, it's about the feelings that we have, which are not always, they don't always have a rational explanation. Total eclipse and mature eclipse on the south node. So yeah, I think as well with Neptune in the picture, there is that sense as well of wonder and awe, and that sense of wanting to be lifted up, something bigger, looking for a bigger picture, which is so Sagittarius, isn't it? Always wants, to give us some faith, which we don't often find in the day-to-day. We can find it in ourselves, or we can find it in an idea or a belief. And what I'm finding really fascinating while we come into this sort of huge solar eclipse, total solar eclipse, is the things that are like these monoliths, for example, that are appearing all over the place. There was just one just appeared in a very old stone circle in the UK. It doesn't matter to me whether they are man-made, which they surely are. It's all about this sort of buzz around them and the fascination that we have with them, and that imagination. Where do they come from? I think this will be especially so for younger children and younger people, and it opens doors, it opens the imagination, and that's Neptune as well, isn't it? And we're also seeing this enormous hype, if you like, in the press, the mainstream press, around the Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions there, connecting it with, the Star of Bethlehem, which is interesting because that was when the Jupiter, Saturn, the age of Pisces was about to begin. That particular Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which many astronomers believe was probably the Star of Bethlehem. Getting a bit sidetracked here, talking about too much information. So let's get back to the nitty-gritty of this week. We have this total solar eclipse. Just want to read a little Arab proverb because I think it's worth bearing this in mind, because we're moving into a lot more fixed energy now. Cardinal is played out pretty much. We're moving towards fixed energy. So there's an Arab proverb. Sag is a mutable sign, a movable sign. It's shifting, it's dynamic. So an Arab proverb: all mankind is divided into three classes: those that are immovable, those that are movable, and those that move. So this ability to move, this ability to adapt, not to get stuck in an idea, because air is about ideas and concepts, and they can mislead us. If we look at, for example, the Third Reich, which has a very strong Aquarius element, that the philosophy, the ideology, which is very Aquarius, led a lot of people astray. So this eclipse, moon strong, we always have to check anything against our own feeling nature. How do we feel? Does that feel right? Does that feel okay? Is that an idea that I really should be engaging with? It's questioning, enables that process. But Aquarius is not all about sweetness and light and humanitarian goals. It does have that other side. It does have that totalitarian side, that sort of, my way or the highway, my ideas are right, and that sort of dictator quality is or can manifest. And I'm not talking so much on an individual level, by the way. I'm thinking in terms of the collective here. So this total eclipse on Monday is massive, massive, as a reminder to trust our gut and to have that sense of awe and wonder in our lives, and to allow it in, and to be able to go with the flow a bit, and not be submerged, you know, don't sink, but float, you know, this kind of energy. We see Venus picking up a few sextiles on the beginning of the week. She's in Scorpio, deep, intense, pained, until death us depart. You know, she sextiles Jupiter in Capricorn. Both these planets here in fall, so they don't have an awful lot to do for each other, but they are willing. There's a willingness there to expand and to earth things as well. Jupiter in Capricorn is very constructive. You know, it does earth things, and it's also Venus is about money as well, and about funding and about cash flow. It's fixed. So yeah, there could be a little bit of a breakthrough on the cash front there on Monday. Although don't hold your breath with regard to the Brexit deal, because that is falling all around this eclipse season. So even if there is a deal, it probably won't pan out as expected. Tuesday, Mercury in Sag trines Mars. That looks good. Venus sextile Saturn. So Mercury trine Mars. There's a sharpness to it. There's a sharp quality. But there is also that ability to get a message out there with passion and with conviction. You know, Mars is in his own sign here. So he's the warrior, right? This is the spiritual warrior, certainly when it trines Mercury in Sag. Then we see Venus going into free moving, friendly, let's go for a hike, Sagittarius. So relationships are freed up. There's a lot more trust in there. And there's also not that sort of focus or fixed focus on the one. It's like, yes, we are a couple, but we have a lot of friends. You know, there's that sort of a group thing with Sagittarius. Come and join us, you know. We don't want to be on our own, you know. We feel like lonely when there's just the two of us. The more people we have around us, the better it is for the relationship. So that's quite, I think, a good shift there, Venus into Sag, actually. And then Thursday, yes, Saturn goes into Aquarius. He's been pussyfooting around with the sign since the 22nd of March when he first went in there. Saturn likes it in Aquarius. I mean, Saturn belongs to the diurnal sect. Aquarius is a masculine diurnal sign. So, you know, we know that Saturn's going to like it in Aquarius. So it's very much, again, you know, group purpose, group responsibility, structure, purpose, responsible social growth. There is that sort of social quality. And of course, we're moving when we see on Saturday, Jupiter then coming into Aquarius. Yes, we know we're heading for that big Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which will be happening next week on Monday, on the day of the solstice, on the day that the sun goes across axis of the world. You know, all of this stuff, it's the solstice, sun still, it's a power point in the year, and just on that day, Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct, making also the definitive shift into air, because they've been pussyfooting around with air since the early, you know, well, since 1980, 1981, the triple conjunction in Libra, right? So now it's a definite foregone conclusion. They are going to be doing their whole future series of between 200 and 240 years. They will be conjuncting in air. So working out of an idea, you know, this is structural, purposeful, responsible. It's a dual unity, and the whole is more than the sum of the parts, right? So we have indeed that Jupiter expansion, growth, you know, spread the word, get things out there. It's very reforming. But Saturn in Aquarius is the other end of the stick, if you like. It wants to take its time, it wants to run things through, it wants to do the research, it wants to check things out, it wants to do the groundwork properly. So these two planets are meeting in Aquarius. I find that it does have a buzz to it. Papers are picking up to it, the media's picking up on it. It's a big event. Astrologers know that, and I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say about that next week. But what I want to remind you about this week with the eclipse and everything is that we are moving into 2021 with a lot more fixed energy around us. And that is why it's very important to be aware that there are forces that are bigger than ourselves, but you know, that we can get swept away with. But that ability to adapt and not just to be immovable, but to move is very, 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 very important. Okay, that's my run through the week. Missed a few things out, I see, it's like Sunday, Sun Jupiter, Sun Mercury conjunction, which is also really nice. again, you know, this is so close to the eclipse degree still. So there's some kind of, you know, the idea, the heart, the core. Good week, and move. Don't keep still. Have a great week. Bye.